Happy Saturday and welcome to Edor Nelson Field at Augsburg University in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm Eric Nordquist, John Bisworm with me, and it is time, yes, absolutely, it's the USL 2 opener. Thank you so much for joining us here, the citizens, fans of the home squad in attendance, and quickly scurrying to their seats as we are about 10 minutes away from Minneapolis City in their USL 2 opener, hosting the St Croix Legends. I like to, in some way, I call them Minneapolis City East, and we'll explain that when we get to the rosters. But very excited to be here. New era. You have a new coach in Carl Craig. Last season, 12 games. What was it, a win, 9 losses, 2 draws, and it was 6th place finish. So an opportunity with Mr. Craig and company to build off of that inaugural season.
Yeah, last year saw Minneapolis City try something out, and that was compete in 3 separate leagues. And what that was, the focus of that was supposed to be is that following the European model, you have the Champions League, you have your league, you have the FA Cup, but you have a roster pool that can compete in any given league.
It was kind of a graduating situation.
Yes, what that did was it fractured the team, so across all competition levels. So this year, futures are in UPSL, USL 2 is all first team.
I dig that, and these two teams, by the way, Minneapolis City and St. Croix last season, along that line, they split it up. It was 1-1-1. Last weekend, a tough loss to Minnesota United FC, the new U19s in the Minnesota Super Cup. That competition, of course, ongoing, but now focusing into USL 2. Let's get right to it. Sponsored by TCO. We have so many great partners here that support Minneapolis City, but first and foremost, Twin Cities Orthopedics and a player to watch on a Saturday evening. And as Crows fans follow as closely as they possibly can, year to year, new faces. And I want to learn more about Hakeem Morgan, John.
Hakeem Morgan is your. If you had to build a striker in a lab, Hakeem Morgan is that type of striker. Hold-up play, ability to get others involved, can score from any which angle, left-footed, which is kind of non-traditional for a striker, can also use his right foot. Great off-the-ball movement. I mean, it's going to be a pleasure to watch him around here. He's a junior at St. Olaf University and spent some time with the U20 Costa Rica international team. So if you're talking about a high-level Division I program and then a youth international, that kind of speaks to what I said in the first point. And then the last point is he scored 21 goals, 19 assists in 38 games at St. Olaf. So he's very productive.
Keys to victory in this one brought to you by Pence Homes. While we're watching Hakeem Morgan, we're also going to jump right into this, John. Less mistakes. So are we building off of the game against the Loons U19s last week and just looking less miscues? Is that the way to put this thing?
I would say less that and more of early season miscues.
Okay.
Because every game of soccer, Eric, has miscues. It's which team kind of limits them from a volume perspective. In the first game of your league season, they're going to be out there. But let's limit the number of them and limit the impact of them and where they are on the field. Starting
off downhill, so we're putting St. Croix on tilt early, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean...
Or hopefully.
That's what you want to do in your home opener. You want to come out, and you don't want to let them punch first.
It's a nice crowd here at Edor Nelson Field at Augsburg University. And controlling emotions, even keel, and just staying level for 90.
I think it's just following the game plan that Coach Craig and staff is putting out there. And you know, there's a lot of familiar faces, like you briefly mentioned, across the stripe here from each other. And sometimes that ratchets things up. Also, you have a crosstown rivalry that's budding here in the second year of this conference for both teams. So you want to make sure that your emotions are on the right side, not the wrong side, early.
Keys to the game brought to you by Pence Homes. On your screen, you're seeing the players and the men in blue are nearing entry onto the field here. We're going to take a short pause. When we come back, we'll hit you with some starting lineups, other partners in support of Crows soccer here at Edor Nelson, and eventually kickoff about 5, 6, 7-ish minutes away. Looking forward to it. Don't leave.
And now, make some noise for the starting 11.
Welcome back, Crows fans, Legends fans alike. Minneapolis City, St. Croix Legends. Less than 5 minutes from kickoff. I'm Eric Nordquist. John Bisworm is with me, and it is indeed time for your starting rosters. And, John, why don't you kick things off, hit us with the home team, and then I'll handle St. Croix.
All right, in goal, number 33, Oscar Herrera. In the back line, starting from right to left, number 5, Wes Lawrence. Number 4, Captain Jonah Garcia. Number 16, Griffin Guillerche. Number 17, Carson Pena. Rounding out the back four. In the midfield, you have number 11, Victor Goldman, number 6, Luca Contestable, and number 23, Eric Contreras. And then up top, you have the trio of number 21, Shea Bechtel, number 9, player to watch, Hakeem Morgan, and number 10, everyone's favorite, Eli Goldman.
And for the visiting Legends, by way of St. Croix, you're going to see number 1, Wesley Sanders in net. And then along the back line, a couple of familiar names for you Crows followers. Number 58, Eric Bloom. And then number 2, Ethan Anderson. Number 3, another center back, Jared Hecht. And Aiden Hillis, number 27. Those are your defenders. And then in the middle, you're going to see number 5, Otis Anderson. Number 8, Colton Prater. And number 10, Nick Zukowski. And then up top, and once again, this is Crows East in some ways, folks. Bernard Asibi Rule, number 7. He's going to be one of your wingers. Nathan Donovan, number 19, up top. And then 66, Jacob Benzio. And now, John, with all of the festivities here tonight and everything included in a USL 2 opener, you guys just don't do it by yourselves, do you?
We do not. We'd like to thank Pence Homes. When it's time to make a move, you're in good hands with the property experts at Pence Homes, a top choice for buyers and sellers all across the metro. Pence Homes, a division of Keller Williams Classic Realty Northeast. And we also like to thank Mpls. Good living comes from two things, Eric: good soccer and good brewing. Between Minneapolis City and Mpls, you'll be living good every day this summer. Visit the tap room in beautiful Bryn Mawr or grab a sixer in liquor stores literally everywhere. Learn more at utepils.com. And last one before we get the action started here, Eric mentioned him before, Twin City Orthopedics. Minneapolis City is in great hands with our longtime sports medicine partner, Twin Cities Orthopedics. You too can have TCO on your side with their wide range of specialty services to help you achieve your goal of returning to full health. Learn more at tcomn.com.
Well done, Johnny. And as these two teams, they commence with the pleasantries and eventually kick off. Any final thoughts in terms of, going back to keys to the game, for instance, and the idea of limiting miscues, or at least limiting them in reference to the course of a game, in this case against the Legends, things that can tell you early on that this thing's going really well? Is there anything in particular that you're looking for in that respect?
I mean, if you look back to what went on last week in the Minnesota Super Cup opener, we mentioned it, Adam Pribble and I did, that we looked at it as like one team that made one mistake and two teams that were very, very relatively even throughout it. I think that mistake piece, that miscue piece, really is it for me. It's does someone from either side of the midfield line here make the first one, and is it in a bad spot? Like, is it a defender who tries to do a line-breaking pass that gets jumped on by a center midfielder from either side, or is it someone who overcooks a pass and the read from the opposition picks it off and you have a breakaway opportunity? I think those are the types of things that are just gut-wrenching in the beginning of a match, and that's what I'm looking for today.
Terrific sponsorship opportunity for one of your many partners. It is the Moments Before Kickoff Weather Report, sponsored by, as of this particular moment, Crickets. It is cloudy and 67 degrees in the grand city of Minneapolis, Minnesota. It appears to be a somewhat westerly, if not southwesterly wind, and we do have about a coin flip's chance of rain at some point during this affair. So the raindrop surely not spoiling the Saturday evening for an absolutely fantastic Crows-loving crowd here at Edor Nelson in Minneapolis. And as you can see, not only those loving it, but we're watching players now. Final thoughts, final cheering up as they do the handshakes and hugs. And we are just moments away from kickoff in the USL2 opener. Year 2 USL2, building off of and maybe the learning mechanisms that you talked about, John. Tough year. You just look at the record line, you're like, wow, that was awful.
Yeah.
But learning learning the effects of how you potentially split talent or split resources and what you needed to do to adjust that into year 2. And this will be the first chance in league play for you guys to see the fruits of your labor.
I think the indicator of the record versus competition last year was that the talent was there. The coaches had the players set up. It was really stretched thin. I mean, last season, Minneapolis City graduated 5 players from that roster to the professional ranks. It wasn't like we didn't have talent everywhere from a coaching staff down to the players. It was just, it's tough when any given week you didn't know what roster you were going to be on.
Nick Sikowski gets things started for the Legends and immediately firing downfield, and it is Herrera. No problems there. And we are underway. First minute of the USL2 season.
Boom.
Minneapolis City.
Oscar's very good with his feet from a goalkeeping perspective. Something to watch for you, Eric, today.
Continued possession, also good with his feet. Contestable. The armband on Nick Garcia.
Jonah.
Who's Nick Garcia? How about Jonah Garcia?
Do you owe Nick Garcia money? Is that why?
I don't know who Nick Garcia is, to be completely honest with you.
He's memorable.
I recognize Eric Bloom, though, who's on it near side.
Colton Prater on the ball right now.
Now forward, if the flag stays down, which it does, that's a CB rule. Smoke's flying. Smoke him if you got him here at Edor Nelson. Head-to-head battle there. Eli Goldman, certainly a familiar name.
Something to mention with the midfield matchup, Eric, is that number 6, Louis Contestable for the Crows, and number 8, Colton Prater, are midfield partners at UW Green Bay, so they know each other very well.
So hopefully they're able to connect on a regular basis throughout the evening. Throw in for the Legends. Now it'll be headed the other way. Through the first couple of minutes, a lot of clearing.
Yeah, a lot of direct balls too. Trying to play downhill. Good step in by Gallman.
Well, we're moving forward. That is Goldman on it in the back. Neatly headed to Sanders.
Yeah, that was a good play by Hecht. Very composed for your center back.
A little bit of trouble here. That's Hillis for St. Croix trying to get rid of it. That was it nicely. Donovan somehow gets back on his feet. It did appear as though he handled the ball.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think he may be calling it.
A throw in? Yeah, it is a throw. No, it's okay, so he must have called it then.
Nope. And we're back
Okay.
up.
Me at my 8-year-old kid's soccer game earlier today.
Good touch by Morgan.
Miles of space, and they do find Goldman. Let's see if he can settle it and get a shot off. And the shot on goal is not on goal. First opportunity of the game, that's Carson Pena and that beautiful hair coming up from the back. Nice idea from Goldman to settle it and get it to him, but well left.
I think that
of
was
the frame.
That opportunity was what you want to see from the Crows, and the quick switch of the field there, and identifying that Goldman was out on an island by himself, but then also the wherewithal from Pena to understand that he should be joining Goldman and making that overlapping run.
Yeah, I think Pena wants that shot back.
It's early.
And there's Pena with the header to clear it. Stinzeo.
Good tackle by Wes Lawrence.
Well done by Lawrence. Throw in for St. Croix, 4th minute, almost the 5th. First corner of the evening off of Jonah Garcia.
Jerry.
Got a distant cousin, Nick, I believe.
Yep. Dad's name's Jerry.
Other than major holidays, they don't spend much time together. It's a long story. First corner, St. Croix and the Legends.
Kowski on this?
I believe it is. Corner in.
Ooh.
A little close for comfort. We got a couple members of saying, okay, they're both getting up. Good news there for them. In some ways, if you watch the replay here, Herrera's in a tough spot there. In some ways, you might want him to come off the line a step.
He's got bodies in front of him. It's kind of tough.
Super crowded there inside the 6.
Looks like Gierchi may have lost his mark there.
Making the turn is Contreras. Now Goldman down the left side.
Great ball.
It's Heck trailing. Wonderful pass and a shot.
It's out of bounds.
Woo. Victor Gallman gets contact, maybe not as much as he would have liked to on that shot.
I mean, that whole play.
Wesley Sanders in net, sweating a bit.
That whole play is watch this connection point from Gallman and Morgan, who play together in college. Just knowing that the other one's going to be there.
Bad clearance attempt by Hecht. Now Goldman on it. Pena making a run.
Space.
Now Bloom back to the middle. And the player to watch early, forcing the issue again from passing to Goldman.
Well, I think the Crows have understood right now that the advantage that they're picking out is Bloom versus Goldman. And ultimately, it looks like a CB rule isn't really doing much to track back with Carson Pena. So that's the advantage that you're going to look to Coach Craig and staff to probably hammer home here, and the players on the field to pay attention to until the well runs dry.
Well, that's exactly it, right? You see something like that kind of works early. You want to push that button and see how they adjust, right?
Yep.
Hecht, by the way, it looks like he caught his cleat in the turf. It's nice to see him up and moving around for St. Croix. Contestable. Managing traffic. Oh, ooh, Contreras getting weird with it. There's Hecht. He'll find Sanders.
Good tight space work.
Getting weird with it. I don't know what that means. But we are nearing the 8th minute here at Edor Nelson Field. USL 2 opener. Tons of space on the far side. Nicely done there. Closing in on that, Bechtel. But still possessing is St. Croix. Now Dinzio. Just absolutely shoving. That has to be a foul, and it is.
Yep. Good communication there from Herrera and Lawrence.
Now Garcia. Looking for Morgan.
Look at Goldman.
Will be a throw-in.
Couple decent chances so far, Eric.
I remember a year ago, you and I would be having conversations about just having better mastery in the final third and finishing those chances. So in an opportunity where you learn a lot about yourself in a USL2 opener like this, you'll want to see how the Crows are able to handle it.
Ooh. Contreras and Anderson
right
together there.
In the fence, like we're watching a hockey game, just battling and checking into the boards.
Is it Donovan?
St. Croix possessing. Testable. On a Pena.
Nice.
Pena with some space. He's asking him to bring it. Now there's Goldman through Bloom. That's a pretty hefty elbow there.
Yeah,
from Contreras.
Yeah, definitely the aggressor there.
As soon as he looked at the refs, I didn't do anything. No, he did. Nicely done. Now some space in the middle, and Goldman, if they can get it to him. Ooh.
Maybe would have liked to see.
Need just a bit more pace on that, and Goldman's going to have a left foot opportunity.
Maybe you would see Contreras take a flyer on that one. Probably going to think about that next time he's within that space.
Well, and those watching the stream this evening, Saturday, Augsburg University, Edor Nelson Field, Minneapolis City, the Crows. You should think about looking your best with the only barber you should trust in Minneapolis. You know who that is? It's Southside Barber Lounge, located 38th and Bloomington. It's the spot for elevated men's grooming without the nonsense. Make an appointment, SouthsideBarberLounge.com. Quick restart, Prater and the Legends.
Developing a little bit, Eric, while you were doing that read. Garcia, number 4, the captain for Minneapolis City, really getting into it with number 19, Nathan Donovan, kind of establishing his ground there. A little bit of aggressiveness there the referee didn't see.
We've now seen several fouls, elbows and back. Dinzio got one in the box a couple of minutes ago. We saw Contreras. There was some elbowing going on near side to our right. So certainly physical thus far, 12th minute. Scoreless. Minneapolis City visiting St. Croix. You'd feel at this point, as many of these whistles as we've seen, somebody's gonna get a card here in the next 5-8 minutes.
Good recovery though.
Dinzio about as handsy as it can get in that moment. A nice job warding him off. Contestable. There's Morgan fighting for it to no avail. Legends take over. The CB rule. Letting Prater take it.
He got the ball on that one.
That looked like it was the ball. Blue didn't see it that way.
Get a replay of that one.
Well, and I hate to be that's completely my fault, by the way. I should not have said someone's going to get a yellow in the next 5 or 8 minutes.
I think Luca might have said something.
He absolutely said something.
I mean, I thought he got ball. I mean, it's a tough one because he's coming in from behind, and a player did trip up. But
yes.
I don't think that was a call that was not warranted. But maybe we get Luca to Let the ref have his call and move on.
We just said it was a beautiful day for soccer in Minneapolis. So I don't know how that warranted a yellow card. But to each their own. Blues in charge. Free kick Legends. Into the hands of Herrera.
Ooh, that should be a yellow card too.
14th minute. The physical nature of this game continues. That's just a pure blind swing by a CB rule there.
I mean, if you're calling a spade, that was from behind. So if you give the card to contestable, with clearly he said something, but you know we're less than a minute after that restart, and then there's an immediate foul from behind.
Now with contestable sitting on a card. Oh, now we got more conversation.
I don't know what that was.
With contestable sitting on a yellow,
that's a tough one.
Does that impact his play?
I mean, yeah, you're 13 minutes in, and your defensive center midfielder is nice play.
Now Keem forward. Whoo. Bechtel. Not close enough.
Don't let that bounce. A little whistle happy here. On that restart, Eric, do you go quick there, or do you try to maybe do something training ground setup there within 35 yards?
I'd be interested to know. I like the idea of going quick.
Yeah, I do too.
Because I think the Crows have already shown advantages in that area, not only with space, but some high-end passing. Mm-hmm. What I'd be curious, though, is because I'm not connected to how Carl Craig is seeing a situation like that, I'm curious what he would have wanted in that spot. You know what I mean?
I think he probably wanted to play it quick, but, you know, you never know. Sometimes is the quick one on? And if the quick one's not on, then obviously you set something up. But if it is on, you might as well keep the ball and move it. Try to catch people off guard.
I would say in most cases, specifically from that distance, I think you're creating a lot of potential 50-50 chances. I think on the ground, playing it quick,
keeping it
is a better option than, in some ways, just a set piece cross-in play. And let one of the redwood trees go and get it.
Do we have any of those?
That's a very fair point.
So maybe play quick.
So play it quick.
Yeah.
That's we just talk things out, and we get to the right answers.
Bechtel doing a really great job of tracking back today.
Yeah, let's go, Sid. Come on, Sid.
I think the...
Thus far, this I'm learning so much about these St. Croix Legends on the fly here. Spoiler alert to those listening on the stream: I haven't done 20 hours of research on the visitors. This Dinzio cat, number 66, is feisty as heck.
I like it.
He's a fighter.
I like it.
He's doing good work there on the far boundary for the Legends. Likewise, Eli Goldman near side for the home team. Tough touch off his foot. Be a throw in here.
Eric Bloom is not happy with his front line. The Legends. I don't blame him either. A lot of times that we've seen is slow movement from the front three for the Legends. When there's 4, 5, 6 heartbeats for Bloom when he's got the ball on his foot and he's a right back. He wants to get that off his foot to somebody, and no one's moving for him.
Pena with the header. Gyurchi controlling. Back to Gyurchi. Now to Goldman. Slick through the legs.
Good idea.
Morgan not home.
Those are the types of things, Eric, that, a month from now, someone's there.
All part of opening night.
It's got to be a yellow card, right?
That's card.
Got here. be Zakowski in the 18th.
Nick Zakowski.
Coach Peter Rivard giving the fourth official his money's worth over there after that one. So we talked about controlling emotions, Eric. 2 yellow cards in the first 20.
And it feels like several more to come over the course of when the 90 is played. Now, if you're Matt Van Benskote, how are you looking at the first 20 minutes or so of the USL2 season?
It's almost like he's within earshot.
You know.
Oh, hey, there he is.
Oh, wow.
General manager, the man, the myth, the legend, Matt Van Benskoten. Welcome.
What's up, guys?
Welcome, sir.
Thank you. I'm glad you asked, Eric. You know, watching the first 20 minutes, I feel pretty good. We're not quite mid-season form. However, I like what I'm seeing from our attack. I like the ball movement, and I think, you know, give it a few more minutes here, and you'll probably see a goal.
We were asking we were kind of bantering back and forth on the free kick that the Crows had around the 35-yard line that chose to go quick. Is that something that Coach Craig wants the players to do, get the ball on the ground quick, unless there's a clear opportunity at some sort of training ground set piece?
Yeah, great question. I think one of the things I keep hearing from Carl at training is it's very much, hey, you as the player make the decision, and I'm going to give you the autonomy to decide what the situation calls for, try to give you some ideas, but ultimately I think right there what you saw was just, hey, there's some space, let's play fast, try to catch St. Croix off guard, and almost worked out for us.
So what is the challenge or ultimately the process in getting these guys connected as a roster? Whether it's working lives. Oh, here we go. Whoa! Get it in there!
Oh, yeah.
Just left to the net.
Dude, Bechtel got a green light from the parking lot when he got out of the car today, huh?
I was so enamored with MVB being here, I nearly missed a goal.
It happens. Those St. Olaf guys, man, they're audacious. they don't care. They'll score from
no, they'll shoot from anywhere on the pitch.
Eli definitely was gonna want that one back if he could have maybe cut back right here.
Yeah.
He probably needs to take one touch inside. Bloom's headed off the
Isn't that a corner kick?
the end line.
Isn't that a corner kick?
I don't think it hit anybody.
So,
but back to the question, Matt, is these guys, whether it's working lives, we're working, you know, and really the spirit of Minneapolis City is such that despite a lot of homegrown products, or all homegrown products in one way or another, that these guys are off at college. These guys have working lives, all while still trying to fulfill dreams. So the balance of, from a training standpoint, getting these guys ready to do this and the connectivity piece of this, what goes into that with Minneapolis City?
Yeah, with any USL team or even, you know, lower amateur soccer team early.
Yeah, St. Croix would be the same,
yeah,
right?
Same thing. There's a challenge. And there's an opportunity for Eli.
Here we go.
I'm going to be quiet for a second.
Please pause, and the shot on net. Sanders is there for it.
Close. But
still building opportunities in the final third, Mr. General Manager.
It feels like it's coming. This is good. We were happy with our attack, that's for sure. Feels like that's another foul. Let's see if the ref gets that one.
It's been a couple in a row.
Well, I pray my mistake again. I talk about yellow cards, then we see yellow cards.
Yeah, Luca got one literally right after you said that.
I praise Jacob Dinzio, number 66. He's a fighter down there.
Yeah.
But now he's grabbing jerseys and stuff, and now now he's mentally he's in a timeout as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly. Well, in fairness to Jacob, he's 17 and he's a heck of a player, so he's got a lot to learn.
Oh, he's got some freight train to him.
He really does. And if you watch him in the state tournament this year, he was unbelievable.
Where'd you go to high school?
I think Woodbury. Don't quote me on that. So I'm glad we're not live or anything. But yeah, I believe.
Don't you scout?
I mean, I leave that to other more qualified people like John Bisworm.
Yeah, I don't go that far east unless I'm going to Wisconsin.
No, but to answer your question, to try to answer it, I think it's always that challenge in the beginning of the year, particularly is even last week you saw guys coming in that literally are learning names in the locker room. But I think one of the things that's actually not one of the things, probably the biggest thing that Carl and staff have done in such a short time is really get these guys on the same page and say, here are your roles, here's what we're expecting of you.
Right.
And that's big, and you can even see it even when I watched our Luther game in the preseason. The thing that stood out to me was the organization. Like, yes, the touch is off. Yes, there's still some fluidity to it in terms of trying to get on the right page, but it's a very organized team for not having been together, and that's massive.
I mean, I'm not going to slight anyone who played last Friday, but the soccer's a little bit different today than it was last Friday.
It kind of sounds like you're sliding them.
No, and it's been an interesting preseason. Very different for us, but it's been good because even last week there were some trialists. We got the opportunity to get some first-team minutes and, get in front of the crowd, get on a pitch with, really good players just to see kind of, hey, what does it look like?
New transition for you, too, by the way, of course, moving from the bench to now, getting your hands in various other cookie jars within Minneapolis City. So from the opportunity, and you think about even like a year ago, talking about just learning and the baptism by fire of being in a new spot, and then the team doesn't have some of the success that it's had in recent years. So there's the negative aspect of that. But as I was talking with John early on.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, here we go, Goldman. Put that thing home. Find the pass, shot. Blocked by Hecht. Through Hecht's legs.
Goodness.
And Sanders.
Oh, my goodness.
It's coming, though.
It is coming. It is coming.
On the doorstep. But I guess what the club learned is really interesting to me from the standpoint of consolidation of resources versus maybe spreading resources out.
Yeah.
And kind of putting more emphasis or a focal point in certain areas of the development, and maybe in the long term, it's going to be a massive positive building off of a year that really wasn't successful or as successful as you would have wanted.
For sure. And the thing that I love about the city is we're always going to try to be audacious. We're always going to try to push the envelope where we can and test our limits. And last year we found out that we had some limits competitively, but I'm still glad that we tried it because we learned a lot from it. And one of the changes going into this year was, for being an amateur club, our goal for this year was, can we move the needle a lot more in terms of being more professional? And we obviously have a very professional staff. Carl obviously is a
very unprofessional in amateur broadcast. I'll be honest with you there.
I mean, it is what it is.
Speak for yourself.
I mean, from an engineering standpoint, our guy Tyler is top notch.
But like you said, there's so many cookie jars, and we can only put so many cookies in so many jars all the time. So we'll work on it. That's 2026. Look ahead.
What do you think about St. Croix basically being half Minneapolis City in one form or fashion?
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
It is, and I don't hate it. And people have asked me a lot, like, oh, is it weird to have guys on the other team against which you're competing? Not at all. And I'll use Bernard Osaby Rule as a great example. Bernard would have loved to play with us this year, but one of the things that Carl wanted to do was train at 4 o'clock. Bernard has a full-time job and just can't do it. And so he called me up and was like, yeah, I really want to play. I just don't think it's going to work. And I think I'm going to go to St. Croix. Awesome, man. Like, you should play. I hope you play.
You want to see him on the field.
Absolutely.
And what's best for him in the end.
Absolutely.
If we talk about the reason why we started this in 2016, it was to elevate players in soccer in Minnesota.
Exactly.
And if it means that you have to look across the stripe to a guy that used to be on your side, that's fine.
100%.
You told me you started this just so you could drink beer and watch soccer.
Well,
so
I mean,
I'm getting conflicted messages. The 27th minute, it's scoreless. It's a USL opener, and we're loving it here at Edor Nelson.
All right, well, Mr. Van Benscoten, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
I'm sure you have hands to shake and babies to kiss.
So many things. More importantly, beers to drink. So I'm gonna go look into that real quick. So,
all right, well, thanks so much for joining us, Matt Van Benscoten, City General Manager, joining us in the booth. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, that was awesome. Good to catch up with him. All the big timers are here tonight, John. It is indeed the USL 2 opener.
Oh, unlucky.
As I mentioned, early 28th minute now. And that's a tough spot. Donovan running away, and the shot!
Great save by
Nice
Herrera.
save by Herrera. Perfect contact on it for Nathan Donovan on the shot for the Legends. Luckily for Herrera, it was directly at him. And that was just a tough moment by Gierici defensively as he kind of leaned in and Donovan just kept running. Geraci was left behind. Corner kick, Legends.
If you're Donovan, you want that one back, picking out a spot. I mean, he put it on target, which is,
Well, it's perfect pace. If he puts that near any corner, that's probably a goal.
Take your time, really quick. Soak it in. Soak it in. It's okay. You might never get this chance again.
Incoming. On the backside. Looks like one of the Crows got a head on it. We'll redo this thing.
For number 3, Jared Hecht.
Yeah, that was him.
Probably the largest individual on the soccer field today.
They do have a couple. How tall is Eric Bloom? Bloom's not in the mix there. He looks like a bigger-bodied guy as well.
They put him back at the end, so apparently either he's not tall or the vertical leap might not be that of someone else who's up there.
Speaking of Hecht, by the way.
Yeah, I got some blood on his knee.
Might be some blood, yeah.
So are we waiting for that, or can we just get her going here? Both teams down a guy. Looks like West Lawrence also getting worked on here.
We should be able to go 10v10, can't we?
Yep, looks like we are.
The service.
Good work by Herrera.
Well done by Herrera.
I appreciate you listening to me, 66.
Going forward.
There's a miscue.
Looking for Bechtel. Now Bechtel getting the jersey tug. Still fighting. Blatantly gets shoved down. That has to be
Here comes
a yellow card.
It's number 5.
That'll be Otis Anderson. Otis Anderson with a yellow. Third yellow card
Looks like it.
in the first 30 minutes of the game.
Contestable in the 13th. Zakowski in the 18th. Anderson in the 29th.
So shots at this particular moment appear to be 1-1. Yellow cards 2-1 in favor of the visiting St. Croix Legends.
6-1, huh?
Or excuse me, 6-1.
It's a lot of numbers.
Can't read a scoreboard. I'm completely honest with you.
Morgan's going on target here. Got the farm on it. The beat farm.
Well, again, in the vein of revisiting a tired talker, he has to put this thing. He has to put this thing on frame. He's not 35 yards out. He's
left-footed.
Player to watch, Akeem Morgan!
Oh, way to
To the
open your
near
account.
post, curving it in!
Nice.
And Morgan is dancing as he puts the Crows on top, 1-0 in the 31st minute of the USL2 opener
Boom.
at Edor Nelson. Artwork, a masterpiece from number 9 in the Crows shirt.
We got a look at that. Master producer Tyler. Oh, I missed it. Please replay it again. I was looking at the field. Up and over the. Yeah, Anderson had no chance. Well, welcome to Minneapolis City, Hakeem Morgan, player to watch.
Akeem Morgan, new number 9.
Good touch.
And your fresh goal scorer here to kick off the USL2 season. Now Eli Goldman with some space.
Pena's trying to get up there.
Moving inside.
Ooh, Goldman was trying to pick out that corner.
And that was Anderson of the Otis variety, getting a foot on it to deflect that one away from danger. But you felt like, and as I misquoted the number of shots, very lopsided opportunities thus far in the first half for the Crows.
Goldman's
And
wide open.
at some point you're feeling this thing's going to break through in the run of play. That you're going to find that pass to Goldman, that something's going to work on the boundaries. And we've seen multiple times now, whether it's number 10 and Bechtel's had a chance, Hakeem Morgan, the goal scorer himself. I was feeling that the dam would break and the pressure would break in the run of play. But in the end, just a gorgeous set piece ought to do as well. And now Crows continuing to put the pressure on. Don't settle for one.
It's the downhill nature of what we talked about.
Time to get two, working downhill. They must have been watching this. Were they watching this broadcast?
I don't know.
Did you send them all the email, the player to watch, and the keys to the game? Things going according to the script quite nicely.
Definitely didn't tell Hakeem Morgan that he was player to watch today, but he just sensed it. Oh, Contreras, unlucky touch there. So now, how does St. Croix respond? I mean, the pressure has been in their half.
And let's see what they'll do with this. Former member of the Crows, the CB Rule, on the ball.
Good communication.
Oh, former member of the Crows, Colton Prater. Now stepping in is the captain, Garcia.
Morgan's on.
Now some space.
Unlucky. Contreras will want that one back.
That's a tough pass from Contreras there.
He had some green, too. He probably could have eaten up a little bit before that pass. Maybe looking to get some of the other white shirts involved. But you don't hate on him for trying that.
Space somewhat shrinking, as if you look at Sanders, he was outside of his box in that moment. And just nearly an equalizing opportunity. I don't know how. I need to see a replay on this now.
We can go back a little further, maybe not. Our producer Tyler's all over it. He'll get us there. It looked as if he was offside. I mean,
that's what I wanted to see on the replay, was whether or not he was on.
Very, very close, though.
The dog has pulled the power cord out of the wall, so we're going to move forward here in the 35th minute.
The Crow chewed through it.
But Donovan now, that's the second great opportunity that number 19 has had for the Legends. And throw in for the aforementioned St. Croix squad.
I mean, maybe that one, Eric, he tried to pick out that corner we talked about in the first one. Oh, yeah, it looks like he was offside. It's pretty thin, but...
Need to see a flag blue. Need to see a flag blue when you're offside, but we shall move on. You're asking how they might respond. They nearly equalized. Nicely done by a CB Rule, and once again, Donovan with space and time. Gurchi near him, and he'll force a corner.
Good recovery. I've been very impressed with the communication of the Crows back four. There's been some miscues with picking up marks, or right there, Gurchi would definitely want to have that back and maybe release it a little sooner, but recovering very well in order to block off any of those cutback chances there that might have been a tap-in goal.
A physical and eventful first half at Edor Nelson. Played to a CB Rule. He pushes it into the center. It's cleared out.
Oh, good take.
Prater and Bechtel pays for it, but now he's headed forward.
What do we got here? A 5-on-2?
There's Contreras. Goldman trying to stay on side. It's almost through everybody to Bechtel.
Pena keep it in.
Tiptoe on it, but Pena keeps the pressure on. Now Goldman. Bloom trailing him. Now retreating to Lawrence. Bad pass, and Dinzio gets right in on it.
Oh, no.
And now Donovan once again. 19 finding his way into the mix. Nearly trips. Makes a turn. Left foot.
Good work
Deflected by Garcia.
But here's the thing, Eric. He's been dangerous 3 times, but he's all by himself. There's no gray shirt within 20 yards of him.
Just bad luck in that situation for Garcia, but he comes back into the mix, and he is the Lone Ranger up top. Nobody following him, nobody providing him with an outlet or an option. But he does win a corner.
It looks as if the gray shirts are for the Legends are very, very cognizant of the counterattack that's been happening for Minneapolis City.
And that's the best way to kind of turn that valve on the amount of pressure that Minneapolis City has been putting on their end. From Zukowski in there, through everybody, goal kick Minneapolis City.
If you're the Crows, these are getting real dangerous. I think you want to try to limit the corner kick opportunities.
So what's the balance between what we've been watching in the attacking third and limiting those counterattacks, and in some ways trying to be more cautious through the middle?
Right.
Because that's you're giving up something by doing that.
Yep. I mean, That's a great question.
Thank you, John.
You keep the pedal down. We talked about it. Go downhill. Go at them. Go with what works. Obviously adjust accordingly. But when you see how dangerous these set pieces are getting from a corner perspective, it gets a little worrying that for all the fruits of your labor, from the great work you've done to get the goal, to put the pedal down, to pressure, could all be equalized by a set piece.
Throw in from Bloom to Donovan. Now here's contestable. Now Goldman. Tough touch from him on the first chance.
We're waiting for this corner.
Puts it out.
Minneapolis City would like to send a special thanks to Radisson Red, Minneapolis downtown, for extending their hospitality to all traveling teams and fans. Radisson Red, official hotel sponsor, partner of Minneapolis City. Got that
Radisson
real
Red,
quick.
big TVs and a comfy bed. Friday or Saturday nights, a place to lay thy head. Here's the corner. That was on the fly, John.
Dude, that was...
are you kidding me?
Dude, that was great.
Yeah, it doesn't write itself. I mean, it's just magical, okay?
I don't mean to puff you up here, but that was fantastic, Eric.
Oh, Goldman battling for it. And he waves the white flag, as he just didn't have enough ups.
That's a clear the lines for the Legends.
Now Herrera. You see the shot disparity, 8 for the Crows, 3 for the Legends, but that doesn't mean there haven't been some scary moments for Herrera just thus far in the first half.
I want to see the corner kick disparity. It's got to be like 6-2, 6-3, something like that.
I believe they've had 4 or 5, yes. Down to the center.
It's a handball.
Ethan Anderson, where's the hand on it?
Let's get a replay on that.
Tyler is so mad. Eli Goldman with it.
The Mpls Ale action replay, Eric.
I like that.
You like that?
I like Mpls.
I like replays.
We know. But you know what? So do the viewers, because it's not about me. It's not about anything. It's about the people watching, rooting for their favorite squad. You said there might be a handball. We need to see it.
Yep.
There's Bloom trying to turn the corner. Can he? Well done. Avoids the corner.
He's had to put a
Exceeds
shift
the
in
throw-in.
for all 40 minutes here. Yo, yeah, that looks like it hit an arm.
Do you believe the arm was close enough to the body or a natural movement to avoid the call?
I think it touched an arm. I was corrected that Donovan was, in fact, onside.
He was.
Yes. Switch of the field here.
From our angle, who's to tell?
I have a giant white post in my way, so forgive me.
It's load bearing. We're going to want that thing to stay.
Yeah.
42nd minute, first half. Crows currently clinging and clawing with a 1-0 lead. Goal scorer Hakeem Morgan, set piece. A beauty that he was.
Interchangeability there. Like Goldman going to the number 9 spot and Morgan coming out wide. See if that brings anything.
As we near halftime, and certainly a few minutes left here in the frame, in addition to maybe some stoppage time as well, 1 or 2 minutes, we'll say. What do you think Carl Craig may be talking to his guys about when they hit the locker room here at the half?
I mean, there's not much more that Minneapolis City can do better besides sharpening up what they're already doing, I think. That's a terrible half answer for you, but the chances have been coming. It's really just sharpening up the final product.
So finishing in the final third, figuring out how to limit what we saw from Nathan. Maybe his friends call him Nate Donovan.
Landon.
And his singular opportunities. There's Zukowski looking for Donovan. Terrible pass inside. Nice job by Lawrence affecting.
Oh, you want that one back, Victor.
Bad turnover by Gallman. Now Prater for the Legends. Trying to find a friend. There's Bloom on the outside. Now a CB Rule.
Can't allow him to turn there. It's work, Victor.
Crows headed the other way. Here's Gallman on it. He's got Contreras to his left. Now Goldman to his left. May have had an opportunity for Gallman through. They opt to
keep the ball.
Maintain possession.
I think that was very smart there. The number opportunity was not there. What was it? A 4-on or a 3-on-4? Keep it.
So you want to wait for the odd man rushes.
Yeah, I mean, there's no harm in what's happening right now. It's requiring the Legends to move side to side, tire out a little bit. I know we're going into halftime here, but it just establishes a little bit of dominance, keeping the ball.
Contreras. Now contestable.
This is that final piece that it'll come. It's going to take a little bit for everybody to get a little sharper. Ooh.
Hecht. Now Bloom.
Fourth official is indicating that there is 2 minutes of stoppage time.
Over the head of Lawrence. It's Hillis near the boundary. He'll fire back inside over the head of Donovan.
Unlucky touch there by
Now Bloom keeping it to a CB Rule. Contreras.
Holtman's in.
A little bit of room if he can get one touch on it. Smart play by him.
Smart from Eli. Time to just see this out.
Now Morgan, the goal scorer. Far side. Now Giurchi. Clearly getting into the half with the advantage is the game plan here. Tough touch there. Nothing Morgan could do. Now contestable. Contreras outside to Goldman. Nice job by Bloom. Taking over there.
Can't let him out of here.
It'll be a throw in here near side for the Crows. Pena on it. Taking his time.
This has got to be the last touch of the half here, you would think. Well,
put in a good 45.
Sorry. About 30 seconds left. Throw it as far as you can, Carson.
Yeah, you guys have a scoreboard and a clock now. Pretty cool.
Just leveling up, man.
You guys have graphics.
Be a big we, Eric. We have graphics.
A CB Rule through to nobody.
Tyler has graphics.
Tyler
we have
graphics.
nothing. This will be the last kick of the half.
Final seconds, first half, 1-0 in favor of Minneapolis City. And there's the whistle. Hakeem Morgan, your pregame player to watch for the Crows in the USL2 opener, finds and creates the opener off a beautiful set piece. Maybe during halftime, we shall show you the beauty that it was. A few yellow cards to go around, the physical nature of the first half, the fouling, guys trying to find chemistry while playing in a game that counts. That's what we're watching here, and it's an absolute blast. Alongside John Bisworm, I'm Eric Nordquist. Players retreating to the locker room. Carl Craig, ready to inspire them for the second half. Looking forward to all of that. We'll break it down, and eventually we're looking for the next 45. Thanks for joining us. Minneapolis City Soccer at Edor Nelson in Minneapolis. Welcome back to Edor Nelson Field in Minneapolis. It is halftime. Minneapolis City, the Crows, up 1-0. It was a 31st minute, a beauty of a set-piece goal, curling over the wall and into the net. Hakeem Morgan, the pregame and pre-match player to watch, notching one for the Crows. The visiting St Croix Legends had their opportunities, some dangerous opportunities, in fact. Nathan Donovan, number 19, up top for the Legends, providing a lot of those opportunities. However, as we near the second frame, my question to you, John, is what are you looking forward to in the next 45? It took me all half to come up with that question to start things off with you.
And I feel like you asked it of me right after half started. But what I'm looking for from a Crows perspective is look at what the Legends are going to come out with in maybe the first 5 to 8 minutes. Like, are they going to sit back and feel as if the Crows are going to be keeping the pedal down, or are they going to do it themselves? So if you can weather the storm, if it's the opposite, if you can weather the storm for the first 5 to 8 minutes of maybe a potential surge by the opposition, then you can kind of get into the flow of it and then go back to what was working in the first half. But what we talked about while we were off air in the first half is what you really need to do, though, is emphasize the sharpening that final piece, putting the ball in the back of the net, cleaning up a few of the little errant passes. We'll call them early season passes.
One thing that I've noticed, and part of this I have to acknowledge, is dictated by that early and consistent pressure by Minneapolis City. Mm-hmm. St. Croix has not been able to generate any offensive opportunities without being on the counter.
Yep.
So in terms
set piece.
In terms of simply possessing, garnering those corners, you're right, getting the corners off of said counterattacks, and then in some cases a second and a third. Feels like they've had 5 or 6 corners, or did in the first half. But in terms of possessing, building on something, and keeping their pedal down, something's happening on Minneapolis' side that is completely taking that out of the equation. Mm-hmm. And your point of weathering the storm and really just kind of trying to adjust tactically, because they can't let Eli Goldman do his thing down there all the second half the way he did in the first, because Eli's going to have a goal by the end of this thing if they do. So the adjustments are certainly interesting. But in some way, if St. Croix can't figure that part of it out, I think they're going to have a really tough second half and ultimately a tough night, I would say, as they visit Minneapolis here at Edor Nelson.
Well, and like what's the next big moment? Is it an equalizer? Is it a second goal? And if it is a second goal, or either one, an equalizer or a second goal, then what do the adjustments look like? Like, do you go in more of a defensive shell if you're trying to preserve that lead? Or even if it isn't a second goal, even if it's just still 1-0, when do you make those moves to start to maybe bring on some more defensive-minded help? Or do you need to bring on some attacking options off the bench?
Multiple yellow cards in the first half, John. So whether it's Otis Anderson, Nick Zukowski for St. Croix, or it's Luka Contestable for the Crows, is that in the mind of Carl Craig as well when you're talking about at the right time to maybe pull the right strings from a personnel standpoint? How worried are you with those situations if you're on the coaching side?
You're not necessarily worried about it. You trust the player to make the right decision. Heat of the moment, things happen, but you trust your guys. And so I don't think right now there's any worry as we go seconds into the kickoff here, but it's always in the back of the mind.
And we are indeed about ready to start the second half, 1-0 in favor of Minneapolis City. And as part of anything, something like this requires great partners to achieve. And in this particular case, you've heard us mention whether it was Pence Homes, Mpls, TCO, that's Twin Cities Orthopedics, Southside Barber Lounge, and Radisson Red, where one finds a comfy bed
to lay their head.
How about the Pedal Pub, by the way? Pedal Pub's sweet. Minneapolis City gives thanks to Pedal Pub. A new 2023 sponsor.
Yeah, buddy.
Pedal Pub.
Look at us.
Get your crew together, work those legs, chug some beers, and give the middle finger to bars that stay in one place. Ride the party, ride a Pedal Pub. Did Nate write this?
Nate wrote this.
Brilliant. Brilliant as always from Nate.
While we're talking about transportation, Eric, we'd like to thank another 2023 sponsor.
Oh, welcome to the family, Metro Transit. Can you tell me a bit more about yet another new family member in 2023, Metro Transit?
Thanks to our new sponsor for 2023, Metro Transit. With buses and trains that run to every corner of the Metro, it's the easiest way to make it to a city match. Okay, I'm going to say this. I say this to my kids. Are you listening? Are your ears open? Free ride passes are available for home games. Learn more at Minneapolis, MPLSCitySC.com. You can get to Edor Nelson Field, Eric, for free if you go to that website.
What if I live in Chaska?
I mean,
I got to go to the website. I'll go to the website.
You go to the website, or you come to my house and I drive you again.
Oh, I like that part. I like that part the most.
And then finally, last but certainly not least, we got Blaze Pizza. Blaze Pizza feeds the players after home games, and they're fired up to feed your family any day of the week. Visit their locations in Minneapolis and St. Louis Park for fast-fired pizza served right out of the oven. Learn more at blazepizza.com. And you know what we call that, Eric? We checked off all of our sponsor reads.
We call that the proper amount of time killing as the second half is underway at Edor Nelson. It is the USL 2 opener here in Minneapolis. The rain, for the most part, at least the most nasty stuff, is held off. So good times, great oldies in Crows soccer here in Minneapolis. Bechtel on the ball as the Crows possess. First stages of the second half. As of now, I don't believe any substitutions of any sort for either team have been made.
Nope, doesn't look like it.
That'll be a throw-in. Last off of Aiden Hillis. Wes Lawrence on the ball. Good to see him. He was 50 yards farther away in the first half. Prater stepping in on Bechtel, still able to possess. Now Goldman, miles of space per usual on the left side. Trying to move inside, battling Dinzio. Contestable. I mentioned early yellow card for him. It was a very physical first half. Hecht, big tree in the middle, clearing it out with a head. But still maintaining possession, Minneapolis City. Your point of weathering the storm thus far.
It's like the pedal was down instead.
It's tough to create a storm if you don't have the ball, as is the case, at least over the last 90 seconds, for St. Croix.
It's like Coach Craig and staff wants to put it to the Legends here. I mean, the lines are higher. A little miscommunication there. But once again,
forward ball, and Donovan, and getting trapped in the back, and the potential tap in and the tying goal. Nathan Donovan. The pace of Donovan in the 47th minute. Jonah Garcia not fast enough to keep up, and Herrera kind of caught in no man's land here.
Yeah, he had to commit fully. He planted his feet down, still almost got back for it. But like we talked about, the offensive chances have been coming on the counter, and it only takes just that, Eric, in order to equalize a match.
The question I had for you as we were returning from half is St. Croix, they haven't been able to possess, establish something in the final third, and create anything of any worth offensively. If you're able to get those opportunities, 4, 5, and 6 chances, that's the fourth opportunity that Nathan Donovan has been able to take advantage of all on his own. And that time he needed no help. It is 1-1. St. Croix with the equalizer. And a foul and a set-piece opportunity here.
What are you thinking here?
Jared, don't be rude.
We'll see where they put the ball down. Now, what do you think about that side of the field and Morgan's left foot?
I mean, if you're Wesley Sanders, you're thinking about it, for sure. This might be an opportunity for contestable.
I think contestable's the answer in this particular case.
Goes over.
Into the netting. Goal kick for St. Croix. Wind out of the sails?
A little bit. I mean, that's a gut punch. It really is.
It was getting worrisome in the first half there as Donovan was getting that on a semi-regular basis. And in a couple of cases, he made a meal of it. Garcia, as we saw, losing the battle there on the Donovan goal, had 1-1 earlier in the first half, or later in the first half, excuse me, against Donovan, being able to get back and deflect, recover, forced a corner.
I mean, you wonder if, we talked about the communication of the back four, and we'll call them back five, including Herrera. Maybe, you know, there was something that wasn't said that needed to be said there, but, I mean, that was just a good old-fashioned foot race.
Won by number 19. Now Pena on the outside. Yurichi. Back to Herrera. Contestable. Now Gallman. Outside to Bechtel. He'll fire to the center, and it's Hecht.
Defense.
Heading it in or out of play. 51st minute, a corner for the Crows.
Only one white shirt in the 6-yard box there. I'd like to see cavalry coming in from behind that. Maybe someone that can be slotted back or across the 6-yard or penalty spot. Excuse me.
Morgan on the ball. He'll deliver.
Let's stay in.
I thought that was for sure leaving play. Quick restart, contestable to Pena, now to Gallman. Yurichi. CB Rule tracking. Forcing some urgency, now Garcia.
Good ball movement.
Now contestable, looking for Bechtel. Too much pace on it.
Great idea, though.
And we'll get a goal kick for St. Croix. USL2 opener, Minneapolis City. Go to MPLSCitySC.com. Find out how you can become a citizen and join the Legion of Crows in attendance here this evening at Edor Nelson.
Donovan again.
Find out a full schedule, when they're going to be here, where they're going to be otherwise, as part of the USL2 season.
So now we have to think about for the Crows is clearly it's Route 1 for the Legends. It's worked. It's equalized. How do you cut it off at the valve? How do you amplify pressure from the source?
Corner opportunity by St. Croix. Oh, off the post and in.
The set pieces, Eric.
2-1. St. Croix has the lead.
All of that came from
That's Otis Anderson.
long counterattack ball. Donovan wins the corner. Set pieces have been dangerous. And there's
Now things get interesting, don't they, John?
they do decision time. And the whole bench for the Crows is up. I mean, it's not panic time, so don't have to get crazy, but definitely sharpen things up.
I apologize for the brief absence, John.
Okay.
I had to go cry a little after that second goal.
Blow your nose.
CB rule. Now the pressure's on from the visitors. Just beyond Dinzio.
Well,
Now Bloom in the corner.
And it has been all second half.
Left foot. Herrera's got it. Pena to contestable.
Ooh, not a good idea.
All that passing, all that possession by Minneapolis City. Now Gallman wins a free kick. But chances in danger via the counter. That put the home team at a deficit.
Mm-hmm. That was a big coming together there. Contreras has an option.
That looked painful. Otis Anderson limping off. Now he's back up off the turf. Now Goldman trying to find some help, working his way out of trouble. Contestable. Gallman. Nice turn by him. And he draws the foul. And it will be a yellow for Dinzio.
That was some time coming, I think, for Dinzio.
That's the fourth or fifth whistle for him, and he does indeed. 56th minute, get a yellow card. Two goals by the visitors
Short
in
succession.
a 6-minute span.
Yep. Nice
Make
part
moments
is,
like this incredibly important in your USL 2 opener.
the nice part is there's plenty of time.
Still a lot of time. 34 minutes plus whatever stoppage time is allowed. Off the wall, cleared out. Now CB Rule trying to possess. Weak whistle, but a whistle nonetheless. I love Bernard. Kind of felt like he went down a bit easy there. Now Prater on the boundary near side. Nice find, Garcia to Contreras. Not able to do anything with it. Now contestable. Back to Pena. Bit out of control is number 17. Now the Legends headed the other way. Forward for Prater. Got Donovan and the CB Rule. Chested from Lawrence to Herrera.
Prater had an opportunity to, I don't want to say make more of that, but his first touch took him out of the opportunity to find maybe a better option there. He took his first touch back into where it came from versus looking to open up his body to find. I thought there was maybe one or two Legends. There was streaking on
What do you think about him taking the shot there?
I mean, yeah, that too.
Because that's the one thing where the Legends have scored 2 goals, but still, I would say overall, Herrera has not necessarily. Tough spot there, unable to click. Throw in for St. Croix. But Herrera hasn't necessarily been tested from any sort of distance. Really the only true shot that he was forced quick twitch to save was one of Donovan's opportunities in the first half as he was shooting near side to our right.
Got some rain coming down.
It's dry here in the booth.
Always.
That's what matters most. Substitutions.
It's like, what we got here? 7 for 18. Who's coming out?
Looks like Pena's out.
Looks like
Goldman the other.
Humphrey for Pena. Number 18, Damon Humphrey. And Goldman, Lamar for Goldman. Not your stereotypical night for Eli.
So who do we got? We got Damon Humphrey,
Yep.
Stevie Lamar.
Yep.
What did you think of Goldman's night?
I mean, he had the opportunities. Not, like I said, not your stereotypical night for Eli. There's some chances I know he'd want to have back. But I mean, at the end of the day, the chances were created for him, and it'll come. It'll come eventually. But I thought, he did what he could in his time, and
What do we like about Lamar in that spot?
I think
Potentially moving forward now.
I think what you get is some additional athleticism. I think they found success.
You're saying Goldman's slow.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, not by any means. But some fresh legs going at Bloom, who looked to be where the Crows were kind of targeting in the first half.
That's what I thought too. The idea, and I feel bad saying it this way, Bloom has a right to be on the field and handle his business, but Bloom looked gettable at times. A bit too much pace. Ethan Anderson boxing out. Hakeem Morgan, it'll be a goal kick. And it looks like we have a sub taking place now for St. Croix. Nick Zukowski. His night is over. Carter Thiesfield,
That could be
number
a
16, entering
good win
the
for Bechtel.
Legends.
That could be you talked about that, the cautious nature of potentially making a substitution due to a yellow card. That could be textbook right there.
Oof.
Lucas had a tough second half here.
Aiden Hillis to throw for St. Croix.
Wasn't it? Back here.
Just run up another 10, 15 yards. It's fine.
Well, until the ref tells you no.
Oh, take every yard you can get. No judgment. Garcia sends it long. Hecht on the ball. The goal scorer, Otis Anderson. As of now, the game-winning, the go-ahead goal for St. Croix. 53rd minute tally. That's a tough one, and Contreras is most definitely going into the book.
Second for Contreras.
$17 minutes and change into the second half. Similar to the first half, a lot of whistles early. And another one comes, and CD Rule hits the turf.
Didn't even get 30 seconds in.
2-1 in favor of St. Croix. That's Colton Prater spotting the ball. Gallman and Bechtel. The small wall. Service. Backside. Headed in, but out by Garcia.
Good block.
Responding Valley. Volley. Volley and Valley. Two very different words. Both words that exist, but very different meanings. It'll be a corner kick.
Donovan again.
Denzio to take the corner for St. Croix.
For St. Croix. Field number 16, Carter Thiesfield, replacing number 10, Nick Zukowski.
As John mentioned earlier, the disparity on corners heavily in favor of the visitors. Hecht battling. Gets ahead on it.
He's everywhere on those.
How can you miss him? Turning inside is Contreras trying to switch fields over Illis. Goes off his head. It will be... Oh, Bechtel keeping it in. Now running by him with some space in the middle. Looking... Oh. Nearly an own goal! Oh, my goodness.
I mean, it looks like... Who was on the back post there? It looks like someone
I think it was Lamar that absolutely was washed out. What happened?
Oh, he was tripped.
Oh, he bit the turf.
Great move by Bechtel.
My goodness.
There's some life right there.
Bechtel feeling it. Now Morgan from the corner in the service. In there. Line drive. Up in the air. Gurchi making an effort at it. Unsuccessful. Now headed the other way. Another counterattack. Let's see how quickly. Well done. That's Bechtel getting back defensively and picking the pocket of a CB Rule.
Yeah, someone got hurt.
And trailing the play.
Is that Hillis?
It's not Hillis. I think that's Ethan Anderson. Forgot about Ethan. Ethan was left behind, but we picked him up. He's fine now. Stretching it out.
Good defensive work by Bechtel, though.
Oh, it's terrific. Perfect leg, no contact, just reached that thing right around and kept a CB Rule from being able to advance with it. Goal kick, Minneapolis City. Aaron pass. Lamar couldn't handle it. Throw in St. Croix. 67th minute. The Crows looking for an equalizer. Everybody showed up.
It's almost there.
The majority of the crowd, the tough, weathered Minnesotans that they are, questioning their existence in mid-May with colder temperatures at times and now rain, but they're here. Hoping to see 3 points in this USL 2 opener.
Boom. Coming out. Game on. Someone else come on.
Hillis.
It's at number 58. No idea who that is.
That's Bloom. Went out.
So then number 21 in.
It's Toussaint.
Another former Crow.
They don't boo, they stew. That was another one, just top of the head, John.
You're crushing it today.
Yeah.
Game one for Eric. Playoff Eric showed up.
This is opening night for the soccer team. I'm in mid-season form right now. No doubt about that. Corner for the Legends.
Hecht again. Trying.
We'll see a goal kick.
Tough one for Garcia there from Herrera. Here, you have it.
Now to Contreras, trying to push forward, tracking back is Prater. If you're watching this on the stream and you're thinking about heading to Edor Nelson, you could do so as recently as a week from now. Another Wisconsin team in town. Is that accurate, John?
Yeah, Racine.
There we go.
Brand new to the group.
The Peaches?
Yeah, that was the Rockford Peaches. Damn it. I'm sure there was a Racine team, and
There was. And made a mistake. 70th minute. Go to MPLSCitySC.com, by the way. Tickets, all intel. It's a 6 p.m. game next Saturday. Racine in town. RKC.
nice.
Bechtel on the outside. He wants him. He wants him. Now centered. Hecht goes to ground. Clears it out. What do you think about Gallman taking a chance there?
Yeah, I would say
I like that actually better than the pass. More substitutions coming.
It's like number 25, Dennis Mensa, for
Contreras.
23, Contreras.
Cleared out, another throw in. Wes Lawrence to handle such duties.
25, Dennis Mensa. Replacing number 23, Eric Contreras.
Earth gobbles that one up pretty easy.
In case anybody watching the stream was curious, or at least wondering if I would correct myself, it was the Racine Bells.
There you go.
Yes, in a league of their own.
There you go.
Donovan, one of the goal scorers on the ball. Card coming.
Humphrey. 71st. Oh, yeah. Wait, the murder there. In other news, Eric, the Futures
How are the Futures doing?
down in Burnsville. The 2-0 victory over FC Minneapolis. Goals coming from 2 goals. The brace for Carter Hermanson
There we
in
go.
the 50th and the 84th minute.
Congratulations to Carter. Congratulations to Minneapolis City and the Futures.
See Hermanson twice. You think maybe his twin brother got one?
Let's see if USL 2 team can act in kind. But for now, we're playing tit for tat on the position of the free kick. Eventually, I would imagine he actually kicks it. There we go, into the wall. Now it's Prater with the left foot.
I might have hit my car.
Into the parking lot, off of the food truck, and just misses I-94. Whew. I don't know what the budget is for game balls from Minneapolis City, but I want to throw an extra couple into the kitty.
That's what you get when you play here at Edor Nelson Field.
Urban atmosphere, and we absolutely love it. Thank you to Augsburg University for their hospitality in hosting Minneapolis City games. Now we're just hoping for a victory. Yurchi pushes Donovan.
Looks like Donovan came from an offside position to receive that ball there, Eric.
I thought he did as well.
That's what
Blue disagrees.
Coach Craig up off of his bench. I think he thinks the same, maybe.
'73rd minute.
Garchi.
Nice clearing header by Girachi. Be a throw-in for the Legends. Look on there, I believe, from Donovan. Nicely done, but nobody home. Now Herrera trying to start quick.
Finds Mensa.
Here's Mensa. I think most people agree Mensa would be the smartest man on the field at any given time.
See what you did there?
Genius level. See, I'm back.
Yeah, I told you, you're in playoff Nordquist form right now.
Oh, this is ridiculous. Gosh, I have so much fun with you doing this each and every year.
It's the best part of my week.
Still waiting for that Minneapolis City logo hat, but we'll get there.
Oh, you got one last year. Yeah, black one, mesh. You did. The whole group got them.
I lost it.
That's on you, man.
I need another one.
That is on you.
Lawrence, near side, out of Mensa. Bechtel. Morgan trying to find an opening.
He might have had one right away. If he would have, I think he wanted to pull the trigger quickly.
Yeah, pretty optimistic effort though from that distance. Calling a handball in that spot. Free kick for the Legends. 2-1. Feeling good at half as Hakeem Morgan puts one in for the Crows in the 31st minute. Beautiful set piece from number 9.
Player to watch.
Playing the 9. But in the second half, for the most part, in a table-turning development. You have Nate Donovan in the 47th minute, Otis Anderson in the 53rd, a 6-minute span. Puts this game on its head, and as the Crows now trailing. But still opportunity, still pressure. Lamar in the corner. Dancing, left foot, dancing to Mensa.
Good idea, though.
Too much pace on the pass. It was Hecht with a foot in there. Now Garcia shouldering the ball to safety. Gurchi hitting the turf. Should see a whistle here.
I think you're going to see a yellow card,
I believe
too.
that's a CB rule.
Yeah. Stevie turned this guy inside out twice. I think that Gallman was probably the option there. I mean, you can't fault Stevie for trying to find someone, but if you look at the back post, see it here.
Might be too zoomed in.
Yeah, too zoomed in.
But I do remember what you were mentioning there. Steve Mensa can beat him to it. Run through by Anderson. He got all ball. It's clean.
Yellow card caution issued in the 76th minute to St Croix. Number 7, Bernard has. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Tough one.
Contestable. Called for a foul. We are starting to
Eat clock.
enter the phase of the game as Colton Prater works his way off the turf where all those little nicks, all those little stubbing of toes, they all just hurt a bit more for some odd reason that I've never been able to figure out in the final 15 minutes of a match.
Getting kicked hurts, Eric.
Yes, it does.
Unlucky there for Hillis.
It hurt more when you're up by 1 than when you're down by 1. It's a scientific fact. There's Gallman. Nice turn. Ooh, just tough spot for Morgan. Be a throw-in now.
The tough call is here. I mean, if the only options coming for St. Croix are through by way of the long ball, if you're trying to maybe look at an adjustment here, it's tough because if you take out one type of player for maybe a more offensive-minded player, like good tackle.
Beautiful tackle from Jonah Garcia. It will result in a corner.
It's tough because there's still always that threat of the third one happening on a counterattack when you're trying to push for that equalizer. Very delicate dance there.
The CB rule, feeling that hard tackle from Garcia.
Clean.
Now Prater. The distance to the corner is always longer when you're up by 1 than when you're down by 1. Scientific fact.
If I'm the Legends,
79th minute.
I was gonna say if I'm the Legends, I play it to Bernard. He's
Right there.
yeah.
That'd be an easy pass for just a one-time opportunity if it's done right. Hecht with the header. Otis Anderson already a goal. Had a chance. It's Dinzio over everybody's head.
A couple quick ones to Bechtel here that just kind of got a little overcooked.
Impressive work by the visitors. St. Croix leading 2-1, entering the 80th minute. Not necessarily any tactical adjustments, at least to start, it felt like. Minneapolis enjoyed a ton of possession and really a lot of comfort early on in the second half. But the counterattacks and the foreshadowing we saw in the first half is what came to fruition for Nate Donovan and then Otis Anderson just 6 minutes later.
Lucky. Counterattack.
With pace, a CB rule there, but it's Garcia getting it out to Mensah. Quick and easy turnover, sends it back to St. Croix.
This guy got that off his foot faster.
Over the head of Hillis and Lawrence. Be a throw in. Final 10 minutes.
Plus stoppage.
Plus stoppage time. 2 goals. A little bit of clock milking. As of now, feels like it'd be about 3 minutes. We shall see.
Donovan came from offside again.
Now impressive work by St. Croix. On the ball. Being aggressive. There's the freight train, Dinzio. Mowing his way through people. Now the Crows on it. Here's Morgan. Managing a 3-on-1. Beautiful pass through traffic. Now Bechtel, a prayer over the head of Lamar. I didn't necessarily mind the pass, but it seemed in some ways Lamar was more concerned about getting physical with Sane than he was about tracking that ball from Bechtel. The result is a throw-in.
Understand that one.
That's Humphrey, who's already working on a yellow card and working on Blue's last nerves. Apparently, 3 with a free kick now for the visitors. Now Morgan, the flick from Mensah to Bechtel. Girachi, far side.
The shell that St. Croix is in is going to be difficult to break down, but I think it's going to take some individual brilliance from one of the front 6 for Minneapolis City to maybe beat a guy and really do the work to break that down.
The brilliance will have to be on pause as the Crows are currently begging, pleading, and fighting and scratching and crawling their way to possession of any sort. Prater now, he's been on the turf 3 or 4 times in the last 5-6 minutes. Throw in for St. Croix. Garcia, dangerous across the front side face of the goal. CB rule, forcing a throw-in. 84th minute, nitty-gritty time, John.
What?
I'd love to see a replay on that as Otis Anderson went Superman on it.
It's like he was not necessarily fouled, more of the aggressor.
interesting. Prater sends it in. Wow. Donovan just a few inches away from having an easy
Facial tap in.
straight on header. Missed it by a nose. Now back to Sanders.
We'll take it to the furthest depths of the 18-yard box there.
Incredibly quiet second half
Yeah, it seems
for
like
Mr. Sanders.
seems like the Crows kind of got out of a little bit with what worked in the first half. Just me, Eric, or is that what you saw also?
We're not seeing anything that we saw in the first half. And that's quite the problem there, where you had St. Croix trying to capitalize on failed to counterattacks actually building in their own end. What we've seen a lot of in the second half is due to, from my standpoint, terrific pressure from the visitors, and constant pressure from the visitors. They're engaging in corners, or excuse me, engaging in counters there. Mensah, not fast enough for Sanders. Now the counterattacks are happening at midfield or even deeper in the correct. And so you're not seeing all of that space and working the way that they did in the attacking third in the first half. And that's all the problems right now for the home team.
That worked out for him.
Lucky to keep possession, at least for a moment. Now back at the feet of the Legends. It'll be a throw in. Smiling Jacob Dinzio.
He had a good game.
Kid's a freight train. I just can't. I like the way the kid plays. But for Crows fans, they're hoping they put a frown on that face. If some way, somehow, they can find an equalizer here in regulation. There's Bechtel. Unable to stay in.
Bechtel's been a bright spot in the second half for the
kick.
Crows. And last play notwithstanding there, but he's gotten in pockets of space.
So you had two opportunities. There was the one, I believe, where Gallman finds Bechtel on the outside when Gallman probably should have taken a shot. We've had a couple opportunities now where Bechtel himself has been the fire starter. Some good footwork there. Put a guy on skates. Created a couple opportunities. But just nothing like what the Crows enjoyed in the first 45 minutes. As Geraci beats Prater to the ball. Now Crows back in possession. I'll kick that out to absolutely nobody. But a throw-in for the Crows must have been deflected. Now Lamar. There's contestable.
Oh, it's a dollar.
Some legs.
Morgan's in.
Now Morgan. Let's see what he can do.
Same.
Nicely done tracking back by Sane. Over the head of Lamar. Now Mensah to
man.
Lamar.
Great play by Donovan. Oh, turf got.
Now CB Rule. Nice save by Herrera. Cleared out
Great save.
by Jonah Garcia.
Great save.
Well done by Oscar Herrera. Keeping it a 1-goal deficit. Nice work by a CB Rule. Geraci just a bit late trying to track him. They do concede the corner. Maintain the scoreline. 89th minute.
Indication of stoppage here. Not yet.
Prater in the corner. Trying to kill time. Shoulder to the ground. Quickly restarted. Now Lawrence. Out of Mensah.
Minimum of 3. So
Felt like about 3 minutes.
So 4?
Contestable through the middle. Uncontested at the moment.
Lamar's
Now
in.
Lamar, can he chest it and stay onside? He is onside. Oof.
That's a
It's a
good
tough one for
opportunity there.
Mensa.
Good opportunity, though. Here's where your minimum kicks in.
90th minute. Looks like we are going to see a substitution. And the CB rule made one last run. Now his night is done.
Got another cramp.
I believe that's Colton Prater.
Get down a couple times.
I've counted 5 personally, just in the second half.
Looks like it was number 25, Trevor Jones, came on for number 7, the CB rule.
Welcome to the party, Mr. Jones.
Number 25, Trevor Jones.
And we are officially in stoppage time. 3 to 4 minutes. What we're anticipating. See a free kick there. That's a tough, dangerous play call there.
Let's get some white shirts up there.
3 minutes stoppage time. 3 minutes.
Oh, boy.
Tired legs, maybe? I mean, that was just a bad pass.
Up to that.
So now minimum of 4, we're told.
Minimum of 4. There we go.
There we go. One more
So
opportunity.
we're already 40 seconds into it. It's time to get serious, Crows fans. On your feet.
White body.
Herrera.
Some white shirts
Yurchi.
forward.
Now looking for Morgan. Morgan battling with Hillis.
Donovan's quick.
And Donovan's a good player. St. Croix, if they do hold on to this 2-1 lead and make it a victory, certainly earned it tonight.
Mm-hmm. Finish their chances.
Waiting for the throw in. And the balls are stuck in the fence, apparently. What are we going to do? It ain't UEFA.
Kick.
Corner kick indeed. Now crossing the halfway point of stoppage time.
Are we going to get more here? 'Cause
There we go. Relieve things a bit.
finally out of the
Space
half.
for Morgan on the boundary. See how he handles it.
Good idea.
Recently entered Trevor Jones, forcing the issue with Morgan. Now some space for Gallman. Lamar. A potential after-death equalizer opportunity.
That'd be special.
From my standpoint, I would prefer that they don't sit around and talk about it for 2 minutes,
Yeah,
and
just
that they just make
put-
this thing happen.
Put it down, hit it.
We don't need to assess every leaf of the artificial turf here at Edor Nelson. I think we should probably just put it on the left foot of Mr. Morgan.
Or just play it to Shea Bechtel.
Now for the first time all night, we're micromanaging the wall. The left foot on target. And even a minor bobble by Sanders. Ultimately out of danger are the Legends. as we were looking at the final moments of stoppage time here. Be a throw-in. Pure unmitigated desperation time. Back that throw-in up. Ref's looking at his watch, and there is the final whistle. Spoiled on a night here at Edor Nelson in Minneapolis, Augsburg University. The citizens showed up, but they didn't get paid off. The visiting St Croix Legends, a team with a fair amount of former Crows on the roster. He knew these confines already. It wasn't truly a road game. They rolled in, and it was the 47th minute, or 46th minute goal, from Nate Donovan. 47th minute, I was right the first time. 53rd minute from Otis Anderson. After Hakeem Morgan put the Crows on the board in the first half with a beauty from a set piece. Mm-hmm. And the hope of 3 points in the league opening night washed away by the visitors, John. I'm sorry.
Hey,
wish I had better news for you.
That's soccer.
That's soccer.
That is soccer. Well, why don't we take a quick break, Eric? Come back with some final thoughts.
Sounds good. Welcome back, Edor Nelson Field, Augsburg University here in Minneapolis. Bad news for Crows fans. The visiting St. Croix Legends roll in 2-1 victors. They are 3 points in the USL 2 opener for the Crows. And I'm Eric Nordquist, John Bisworm with me, and it is indeed time for the Southside Barber Lounge stylish standout of the match. And for my end of things, John, I just got to go with Hakeem Morgan. He was the pre-match player to watch, and he gets that goal. It was a gorgeous one. Had another really dangerous set-piece opportunity there. Final moments of the match. But the focus that we put into him in terms of what we were hoping to see, we got it all and more.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think that the citizens also voted him their man of the match as well. And, I mean, I think that it's warranted. I think that for me, the storyline was the Route 1 Soccer for the Legends worked, and it was starting to materialize in the end of the first half. I think the goal, the brilliant free kick goal by Morgan may have masked the fact that they were building on something from a Legend standpoint with that direct long ball to Donovan, who was dangerous all night.
And the worrisome aspect of this, and this is something that Carl's going to have to, as he looks back at this match and thinks through it, and Racine's in town this next weekend, so another not a lot of time to think about it. You're back here at Edor Nelson next weekend and Racine, and let's get 3 points and all of that. But looking back at how that did just work as easily as it did all night, there was never a change. There was never a time where specifically on the counter that they were able just to go to direct and put that pressure singularly, by the way, because you noted at no time really was it Donovan and a couple of buddies.
It was typically Donovan, maybe a CB rule.
If we were playing basketball, we talk about it being ISO hero ball, and it worked, and it worked. And while it didn't materialize into goals in the first half, it certainly did in the 47th minute as they tied up the game.
I will say this, though, Eric. There were some really good moments of soccer for the Crows today. I think obviously the result is the final result is a little difficult to take, as any loss is. But if we're talking about building blocks, there were some really good moments out there today, and that's what from a team aspect, from a staff aspect, you look at those and you try to make those happen more often.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, because we are glass half full people. That's what we are, John.
We are. Or can, bottle, whatever it is.
Yeah, can, bottle, Yeti, beverage of your choice. Here's what I'll say. There were great moments on the field for the Crows tonight, albeit in an L, 2-1 in favor of the visitors. There are also some great partners. And as we wrap this up, John, I just want to say Penn's Homes, Mpls, Twin Cities Orthopedics, Southside Barber Lounge, Radisson Red, Pedal Pub, Metro Transit, Blaze Pizza, tremendous partners of Minneapolis City. And with Racine in town, it is a Saturday night, 6 p.m. match right here at Edor Nelson. That's this next Saturday. You can get tickets, get merch, get information of all sorts at MPLSCitySC.com. John Bisworm, it was fun hanging out with you.
Let's not forget this. Happy early Mother's Day to all the moms out there.
All the mommies.
Without the moms,